Hi, everyone. Welcome to AI and Current Events on July 8th. I want to share what is keeping me up at night. And those of you who don't know me, I'm Mia Shah-Dan. I am the founder of Women in AI Ethics and WAIE+. I was watching a documentary about romance scams, and there are several reasons why this was so troubling for me. One is the issue of women's safety and exploitation. Women tend to be primarily the victims, and especially women as they get older, they tend to be more vulnerable. Many women have lost their entire life savings, but this affects not just women, it's people, especially of older age, and really across all genders and races. So this is a pretty widespread issue. So FTC, as you can see, there are some stats that I'm sharing with you. FTC has reported in 2022, nearly 70,000 people reported a romance scam, right? And which is staggering, but the number of losses, the figure for losses is even more terrifying. A staggering 1.3 billion were lost in scams related, especially specifically romance scams. The numbers keep getting worse. A couple of things I want to share how this relates to AI and the issue we are facing right now is one is there's a growing use of deepfake technology in these scams. And that will keep getting worse as these technologies become more powerful. People are being pushed into digital spaces without any guidance as to how to keep themselves safe. And this predates even AI or the proliferation of AI tools. So there is no guidance as to how to keep yourself safe or how to keep your information safe. There's also very little discussion about the other side of this equation, the scammers themselves. There are a large number of people, young people around the world who have digital skills, but no jobs. We see the same patterns repeated in AI, where there's this push for everyone to use AI, but there's no guidance around how to protect your information. How do you keep yourself safe? What kind of information you shouldn't be sharing online? And how this information can be exploited and used in harmful ways. There's also this push towards coding and STEM, which seems good intentioned on the surface. However, we have more and more people competing for a few number of jobs. And as you can imagine, this is not going to end well unless we have some serious interventions. So this is what I intend to cover this is what we plan to address with WAIE+, but also what I will be focusing on in this AI and current events and other sessions that we'll be hosting. Safety is foremost, it's number one on our priority list. Jobs, the fact that there are fewer and fewer jobs and more people who are competing for those jobs, and economic opportunity. Economic opportunities for the 99% of humanity, because we believe this prosperity from AI that's being promised should be distributed equitably and equally across all of humanity, not concentrated with the 1%. So that's me, Mia Shah-Dan. That's what I'll be covering. I want to introduce you to my co-host, Hessie Jones, who is based in Canada, and she will be introducing herself and tell us, Hessie, what you'll be covering in your segment.
Thanks, Mia, and hi everyone, and thank you for giving me an opportunity to be part of this platform. It's truly amazing. I've been a follower as also a member of Women in AI Ethics and now WAIE+ for many years, and I love the work that Mia is doing. So first of all, before I introduce my topics, I just wanted to shout out to Mia for the work that she is doing and the topics that she is covering, because this is very much the kind of thing that I write about. And for me as a writer, and for me as someone who consumes a lot of this data and information, it's important for us to be able to highlight all the things good and bad that's happening with AI as it starts to roll out in humanity. And unlike traditional software, the only way AI gets better is if it actually infuses itself into the daily lives of people. And unfortunately, that comes at cost. So I will also support the covering of a lot of these topics as we go forward. So for my segment today, as someone who lives in Canada, there are definitely impacts that we see not only from a digital perspective, but even political. And I'm not shying away from the fact that there is a trade war going on globally, but the critical part of it from a Canadian standpoint is that the foundation between United States and Canada has stalled. And I'm saying stalled because I think we can get back to the amazing trading relationship that we've had with the US for many, many years. The one thing I will say, though, from a news standpoint, what was recently passed was Bill C-5. And many Canadians will know this. Not many Americans will, but what this essentially is a free trade and labor mobility in Canada. So this was accelerated after the, I guess, initiatives from Donald Trump that seek to impose the 50% tax on our steel and aluminum and also put some of our sectors at risk. So what Prime Minister Carney had done was essentially installed a bill that would allow us some economic autonomy and allow us to actually, which is a good thing, remove some of the interprovincial trade barriers in Canada. And so what that essentially means when and we're talking about jobs as well, because it's not only digital, like political and technology are combined. They are two things that these days that you cannot have one without the other. So there are significant impacts on the economy. So what does this Bill C-5 does is it opens up procurement opportunities so businesses can work across Canada. There is a labor credential recognition, which means, and if you didn't even know this, I didn't know this, but nurses, drivers, there are professions that cannot work between provinces because the regulations and the requirements are very different. So now that is going to be lifted. We're going to have standardized regulations for goods and services, and there's going to be national interest projects like energy transmission, the infrastructure to lay the groundwork for a lot of the digital work. That is going to be streamlined as well. So there's a lot happening from that perspective. And I wanted to bring in addition, the digital services tax because that has been in the news lately. And I wanted to give some context into why that was implemented in the first place. It was actually introduced in 2024. And as we know, big tech, Facebook, Amazon, um, Meta, and streaming services like Netflix have been profiting off many consumers across the world. And what the government had done was impose a tax to ensure that they're paying their fair tax on the billions of revenue that they're making. Now, it made sense in recent days to actually lift that digital services tax only because right now there are many things happening at the bargaining table. And the idea was to actually bring the US back to the trade negotiation table to actually get a comprehensive economic and security partnership deal with the US by July 21st, 2025. It would have also actually been imposed on Canadians. This DST, if it were implemented, would mean higher costs to consumers, as we know, as tariffs do as well. So the idea was to try to create this deal with the United States that would allow us lasting prosperity and to finally just lift the tariff ban and see if we can get back to our old relationships. So that from a Canadian perspective is one of the things, some of the things that we're doing to try to not only create autonomy and independence, but also pave the way for like a better future for Canadians. So that's what I have for this week. Over to you, Mia.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to have you here because we rarely ever hear the other side of the story. We have a very US centric view of the world here, obviously, because I'm based in New York. The media, a lot of the media is based here, but by inviting having you join us, and also we have a segment with MC Arestes who will be covering Africa. We have this opportunity to start having conversations on a much more global scale and having voices from those regions representing it without that mediation between, oh, this is the media and media decides what we get to hear or not hear. So thank you so much. I'm so excited. And everyone, thank you so much for joining us. This is just a small taste of what you can expect. Today is our very first session, and we would love to hear from you as to what you're looking for, what you like to hear about, and if you have any questions for myself or Hessie. So see you again next Tuesday, same time, bookmark this time and add it to your calendars. And we'll see you again next Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern for AI and current events. Goodbye for now.